Welcome back to Cambridge House Live. I'm Vanessa Collette here at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference, and I'm joined by Andrea Zaradik. She is the President and CEO of Northair Silver. Welcome, Andrea. It's great to see you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Glad to be here.
Now, Andrea, Northair has gone through quite a few changes in the past year. There was a name change in management, so bring us up to speed a little.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right. We did a lot of interesting things with Northair last year. First and foremost with myself, I joined in September of last year, so I was part of a new management team that came in, as well as a new board of directors in part. And we also brought in some new money into the company and really wanted to add a new face and a new sense of energy to the group and to the environment, and a new sense of direction with our silver focus, hence the name change to Northair Silver.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting how you came you came across the La Cigarra project. I guess you were with Troon Ventures.
Yes.
So maybe you can enlighten us there.
Sure. I was actually the CEO of a shell called Troon Ventures. We had a very, very high profile board of directors, and I was tasked with finding an asset for the company. And I looked at over 100 different assets, and this one really actually stood out for me personally and our VP Exploration as well. Troon ended up doing an RTO and merger with an entity completely outside of the mining sector called Grenville Strategic Royalty Corp. And that company is now publicly traded and actually doing quite well. I remain on the board of directors of Grenville, but I stayed in touch with the La Cigarra team, and in particular the management group. The CEO was wanting to retire, so it was a good fit and a good segue into making that transition into Northair.
So when you were at Troon, what did you like so much about the project?
I really loved everything. The potential, the resource expansion potential is huge. 32,000 hectare property. Mexico is still a great jurisdiction to do a mining project. You can drive right to the site. I've worked in many fly in, fly out operations that are remote and difficult to access.
Right.
So that really stood out for me. Great topography, amenable to an open pit. And when I looked at it, it took me a very, very little period of time to know this is going to be a mine one day.
And so these are some of the things that really made the project stand out from the other 100 or so that you were looking at.
It stood out in all facets of it, absolutely.
Now you just released an updated resource estimate. So how did it look?
It looked great, actually. We were very pleased with the results. It actually wasn't our first resource estimate. I think it's important for shareholders to know and investors that Northair actually put out its first resource estimate in 2013.
Okay.
So this is a subsequent resource that we put out last week. And we were very, very happy with the results. We saw a 14% increase in the grade and a 17% increase in total ounces.
Wow, okay.
So in total, we have just over 63 million ounces of silver at an average grade of just under 3 ounces a ton, or around 85 grams a ton.
And Andrea, how did the market react to the resource?
It was good. It was actually good. I'd say neutral to good in this market. I was pleased with the outcome and the results, and certainly we're going to go out and start promoting and telling the story a lot more, because there's a lot of expansion and resource potential at La Cigarra.
Now, what's some of the growth potential that you see at La Cigarra?
Well, in this last drilling program that we completed in November of last year, we uncovered some areas that we previously hadn't really focused on in this drilling. So one of the interesting holes that we drilled was a deeper hole, and we noticed that there was mineralization that continued to depth. So that got us excited a little bit about the potential for underground drilling. As well as there's an area to the northwest called La Baracha,
Okay.
which Northair previously drilled in 2011. We see, again, some potential in that area as well as to the east. So really open in all directions, including to depth.
And I think the resource used a silver price of $22 an ounce. So
Right.
when do you see silver going back to those levels?
Well, I'm pretty optimistic. I mean, when I joined Northair, silver was almost $20, and that was just a little over 5 months ago. I see silver trending back in that direction in the not too distant future. We closed at just under $18 at the end of last week. I'd say that it's not a stretch to see silver get to that $20, $22 range by the end of the year.
Now, you made another acquisition, which was the Los Cuatos Gold Project.
Yeah.
How does that fit in with La Cigarra?
Las Cuates is a contiguous mineral concession to La Cigarra. So it's just adding our property-wide position. It's an interesting target. It's actually primarily a gold target, even though we're a silver-focused company. But it's had some very, very interesting drilling done. It was previously owned by a company called Serengeti Resources, and we acquired that just before Christmas last year. And it's a long target, 2 kilometers long by 500 meters wide. So it really just, it's again about focus at La Cigarra and using our people resources on the ground in that area rather than spreading ourselves too thin geographically.
Great. Now, what kind of drilling do you have planned in 2015?
So we want to continue drilling in and around La Cigarra.
Okay.
We anticipate that we'll be drilling probably by next summer again, and we're well funded to do that, and I'll speak to that as well. But we would see adding some more drill holes into the La Cigarra resource area itself, and as I mentioned, to the north and to the south. So we're pretty excited about that.
What else are you doing to advance the project? Are there metallurgical studies, baseline?
We actually have done 2 phases of met testing, and the project has had great results so far. We're going to kick off phase 3 here fairly shortly. Actually, we're just in the process right now of awarding that work to a lab to do met testing. Hoping to see some results in the next 2 to 3 months, and that's going to include some environmental baseline work as well. So there's a lot of work we have planned in the next 3 to 6 months, both on the met testing, environmental, as well as our ongoing community relations with our ejido.
And what's the status of surface rights?
We actually have a 20-year lease agreement with the ejido.
Oh, wow.
And it's a great agreement. We have a great relationship with the ejido. The company also acquired a fairly large piece of property as part of the project, so surface rights and access is really quite secure.
You mentioned you were well financed, so what's your cash position?
We have just a little over $4.5 million in treasury, and so that we expect should carry us through the next 12 to 18 months without the need for another financing and get us through that next round of drilling.
What else can investors look for or expect in 2015 from the company?
Well, we're really excited about 2015. We think we're highly leveraged for growth. You know, we're undervalued in our opinion. Our market cap is low, our share price is low, and we are pegged to the silver price, but we see huge upside this year. We're going to do some more drilling. We're going to continue to de-risk the project, and we're very excited about the project and the potential to grow in 2015. So we're very optimistic about 2015.
Excellent. Well, we'll be watching with interest. Thank you so much for joining us today, Andrea.
All right, thanks, Vanessa. Thank you.